Hey, my friend, welcome back to Parenting A to Z. I am Kelly Bourne, and today we're covering B is for belonging. Yes, we're talking all things belonging. We're talking why it's important, what gets in the way, and probably the big thing that you're really tuning in for today is how we can really instill a sense of belonging, unconditional acceptance in our kids, even when it feels hard and even when we're struggling, because I know sometimes it's not always easy, right? It's not always easy when we're getting a little hot under the collar. So we're covering it all coming right up. The reason that I wanted to cover belonging right off the top in this Parenting A to Z series is that belonging and our kids developing that sense that they belong in our family no matter what mistakes they make or how many stumbles they have, it is just at the root, at the total ground floor of feeling loved and feeling accepted. And that's where the roots of self-acceptance and self-esteem come from. Because the thing is, when our kids don't feel that sense of belonging, that sense of being really rooted and grounded in who they are and accepted for who they are in the family, they'll start to go outside to get it. They'll find a peer group, or they'll find other people who accept them no matter what. And lots of times I'm thinking this is like super extreme case. Like I'm not saying this is going to happen for everyone, but things like gangs or, like the quote unquote kids on the wrong side of the tracks, they are very good at helping kids feel like they belong. So that's just one of the core underlying reasons that developing that sense of belonging is so important in the home, so that they see us as their safe home base, that no matter what, they can come back and they can talk to us and we'll help them out and we've got their back. And the other thing too that's really important in developing a really strong sense of belonging and significance in our kids is that so much of the time, like basically 99.99% of the time, when our kids are acting out or we're struggling to win their cooperation, it is because our kids are taking misguided ways to get their sense of belonging and significance met. You see this all the time with like attention-seeking behavior. Our kids, mom, are pulling on us, or, class clown taken to the extreme. It's kids who have developed that idea, that mistaken notion that in order to belong, in order to like fit in and play their part, they need to always be at the center of the attention. Same with kids you're really struggling with power struggles. That could be their misguided attempt to belong, that their place in the family is to be the, disturber. Or I'm trying not to swear in this video series, so we'll see. There may be a lot of like, whats and bleeps, but I'm gonna try my best. But it's really true that belonging is the root of all of it. And the other thing I really wanted to touch on too before we dive in is that belonging is not the same as fitting in. Like, I am not talking this as being a masterclass on how to fit your kids into a mold so they fit in. Because fitting in is like, it's a fake out. It's a total fake out. It's being someone else. It's putting on those characteristics or acting in a way you think other people want you to behave. That's fitting in. And that sucks. Like, even for us as adults, you think of times when you didn't really feel like you belonged and you had to put on a different hat, and you maybe always felt like you were acting, and one wrong move on your part and you're out of the group. That's what we're trying to avoid with our kids by instead instilling that sense that they belong no matter what, warts and all, because heck, don't we all have our own fair share of warts? It's kind of nice for us as adults to know too that, when we make mistakes with our kids, when we mess up, when we say things we shouldn't say, that we can come together and grow from there. So that's really why it's important. And there's a few key things that really get in the way of developing that sense of belonging, because man, it can be hard sometimes, right? Especially when you feel like you're really locking horns. And so there's four real big main things that get in the way of our kids' sense of belonging. And the first big one is shame. Is that feeling, I know it's like the other S word, shame. It's that feeling of I'm a bad person, right? And we do this, I say this, it's hard because we all do this to our kids probably more often than we would like to admit, sending the message that instead of them doing a bad thing, that they're a bad kid. Just like through I hate even talking about it. It's such a hard topic, but shame is a big one, shaming our kids. Another one is when we can guilt trip our kids. And don't get me wrong, guilt can be a very useful emotion in informing positive behavior moving forward, but guilt can get in the way. So I always try to be mindful if I feel myself running into that lens of using shame or guilt to try and like teach my kids, because it really only sets the stage for more disconnection, and essentially more disconnection leads to more misbehavior and acting out and more walls up when really we want to be trying to come together. Two other big ones are embarrassment and humiliation. So I know sometimes it's things that we can do. I guess that's the other thing the message I'm trying to send is that don't feel bad. I know, don't feel bad. It's such a useless thing to say, because when you feel bad, you feel bad. But I'm just trying to let you know that, you know what, I've been there too. I have done all of these things, and it's just about being aware of it, having that awareness so that you can try better next time, right? The whole you know better, you do better thing. So I'm not trying to like load up a bunch of crap on you right now. It's just having that awareness that using these forms of embarrassment or forms of humiliation to try to teach our kids lessons, it really often only makes things worse, not only in our own relationship with our kids and their willingness to want to cooperate with us, but that sense of belonging, it just like cuts through it. It just cuts through it. But the good news is it's never too late to start that repair process. And let me tell you, like oftentimes it feels like you're doing this on a daily basis, right? If you're going through a particularly tough time or you had a really short fuse, it's okay though. It's okay. We're all working together. So getting right into the nitty gritty, how can we develop a sense of belonging and significance and connection in our kids on the daily? First thing is listening to them. And man, oh man, when I first started becoming aware of how much I was not only was I not listening to my kids, but I was actively tuning them out or dismissing their feelings, or just not even really, I don't want to say not even caring, but really when you get into the day-to-day grind and you have so many things on your to-do list, it's easy to kind of shove their wants and desires out of the way if they're not completely aligned with where your train is headed for that day. So first thing is just taking the time to listen, and the second is validate your kids when they're saying they don't like something or they're upset or you notice that they're angry or acting out. Listening and validating their experience as being true and being real. And that doesn't mean you necessarily have to agree with everything that they're saying or how they're acting, but just recognizing their experience as being real and true for them, and setting the message that it's okay. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to be so angry that you just want to explode, but it's the behaviors that we use and the words that we use after that maybe aren't okay, or we maybe need to find a different way to express ourselves. So they learn that they can come to us with whatever's going on, and we'll help them through it. We'll walk them through it rather than telling them like, be quiet, don't do that, you're driving me crazy type deal. So listen and validate are huge, huge, huge. Another one too that I know I'm smiling already even thinking about it is just enjoying their presence, enjoying being around them. There's that old saying, right? Do your eyes light up when your kids enter the room? And again, I know sometimes they don't, right? Sometimes in one of those days, it just doesn't. And those are the days that sometimes you just have to work extra hard to, drop to their eye level, give them a hug, give them a little squeeze, give them a little ruffle of the hair so they know that they're loved, and they know that you're happy. You're genuinely happy to see them and to be spending time with them. And even verbalizing that. Like, I love reading stories to you guys. I love hanging out with you guys. Sending that message that you love having them around, and this is their home and they belong here. And then besides listening and validating them and having your eyes light up when they walk in the room, I know it's probably, depending on the day that you're having, this is probably when you're like, okay, yeah, Kelly, that sounds really freaking impossible. And the thing is with belonging and having our kids have that sense that they're significant in the family is accepting them as they are, even when it feels hard and even when you just want to freaking blow your top, right? Like that is where the rubber meets the road, and that is where this is not only the most important, but it's also the hardest, like for myself included. So this is where it's just finding something that works well for you, whether it is taking a few deep breaths, whether it is saying like, you know what, bud, I just need 1 second can I have a hug? Give me a hug and a smooch. I'll be back in 5 minutes. Or getting down at their level. I'm finding myself doing this a lot recently. It's working well for me, is just kind of surrendering in the moment when I feel my blood pressure. When I feel my blood pressure starting to want to spike and go through the roof, is I will literally just drop to my knees and hold my kids' hands. And I find for me, that is really calming. So when you're just wanting to, you know, everyone has those moments. It's like, you just want to like get out of my sight, or you want to get out of their sight and just kind of wish for your do-over moment. Sometimes just surrendering in that moment is so helpful, and just kind of centering you and bringing you back to, and also sending the message to your kids that, okay, even though things are getting really real right now, we're in it together. We're in it together. And of course, if you are having one of those moments where you do need to take 5, by all means, take 5. One of the biggest things for me was, I can't even remember who said it to me, but just the idea of leaving with love. If you do need to take that time out for yourself, give them a quick squeeze or a quick smooch or something, just to send the message that, you know what, I love you, I need some time, I'll be right back. But just leaving with love is so, so, so beneficial. And then from a practical standpoint, because I am all about the practical, right? It's enough to talk about this and have discussions about these great ideas and having these great intentions, but really we need to take that and put it into practice. And something you can do with your kids, of course, depending on their age, is get together and draw just a little, it doesn't have to be like Pinterest worthy or anything, but just a little outline of your house, and just sit down as a family and talk about what everyone in the family has permission to do in the house. Things like have fun, be silly, get angry, be yourself, ask questions, be heard, be listened to, whatever it is, just kind of sending the message that everything is okay in this house and we will have each other's back, because everyone has permission to be angry. Everyone has permission to get upset. Everyone has permission, this is a big one that I love, is everyone has a permission to fail or to make mistakes, because so much animosity and so much disconnection can come from that mistaken idea that mistakes are bad, right? I know it's one of those things, it's a tough habit to break, because so often we're looking for those mistakes, or we're pointing out our kids' mistakes. But when everyone in the house has permission to fail or to make mistakes, it shifts things as to an opportunity to come together, beefing up that sense of belonging and looking at, okay, how can we get through this? How can we work through this together? Where's our opportunity to make a really positive change? And creating this little fun house diagram of what everyone in the house has permission to do is a really fun jumping off point to do that. And then you can stick it on your fridge or wherever if someone needs reminding, right? If someone needs reminding that everyone has the right to be heard or to be listened to, or everyone has the right to make a mistake. It's just fun to kind of keep everybody on track, ourselves included. So I hope that helps, guys. I hope that sheds some light on the whole concept of developing a sense of belonging and significance in our kids, how it's the root, it's ground zero for having that sense of self-esteem and self-confidence, and mainly self-acceptance, knowing that, because isn't that the hardest thing so much of the time, is just accepting ourselves when we know we've said something or done something we wish we could maybe take back. Having that safe place in the home is so, so important. Not to mention that it helps our kids going elsewhere. It helps our kids from going elsewhere to find that sense of belonging when they know they have it at home. It also helps them from acting out in misguided ways to find their sense of belonging or significance. So give it a go, guys. Try to listen and validate your kids as much as you can. Try to let your eyes twinkle. I know I'm getting all weird, but really it's something for me that after school pickup or in the morning, just sending that message, like giving them a squeeze and letting them know that they're loved, is so, so helpful. And drawing that house, maybe making that house and seeing what everyone in your house has permission to do, posting it somewhere visible for everyone, and then just doing your best to avoid shame and humiliation and embarrassment as parenting strategies. We can get into more details with that in future videos, but trying your best to step back from that. And then of course, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them down below. I'm always happy to chat with you. So that's all for now, guys. I'll leave you to it. Let me know how it goes. Of course, if you're looking for any more in-depth support or resources, make sure to slide on over to the Parenthood. Check it out. You can join me for my live office hours. Oh, just love hanging with you guys. So that's all for now. I'll see you in the next video.